Hey everyone, welcome to Brave Souls. I hope you're all having a wonderful week. My guest for tonight is Raya Witts. She is an adoptee. She is the newest newest ambassador of I'm Adopted, and just became a really good friend of mine the past few weeks, and I cannot wait for her to come on and share her story with all of you. So as soon as Raya comes on, we'll get started shortly. And here she is. Hey Raya, request to join and we'll get started. Hi Joshua. Hey Chris, welcome. Hi Gibby, hello, welcome. My adoptee life, welcome. Okay, we're gonna go live with Raya in it now. Hi. Well, we have a little connection issue. You there? Okay, perfect. I'm Monarch Connections, welcome. Lovely Kay Senya?
Senya, yeah. Hi.
Senya, hello, welcome. You look so pretty.
Oh, thank you. So do you. Is my lighting okay?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to put up just a little bit.
Okay.
Raya's husband's on, welcome. Hey. Witts, hello. The NR Hour, hello, welcome. I'm good, how are you?
I don't know. Is that better? A little bit?
Much better.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. Yeah. So how are you?
Good. How are
Nervous?
you? Yeah, a little bit. I must admit, a little bit.
Yeah. You're gonna do great though. You will.
Thank you. Here, I'm trying to sit next to the light so that, let's see. The lighting in the room was better earlier today. There.
No, that's okay. Okay. It's all right. So I'm just gonna give it another 30 seconds, have more people join on, and we'll start.
Sounds good.
Okay. So Raya, it's your first time sharing your story.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Yeah. Glad to hear in our hour. Hello. Hey Keith, welcome.
Hi.
Hi. Gibby said excited for this. Me too. I'm so happy you're here to watch.
Thank you, everyone.
I'm trying to get comfortable. I tend to move around a lot in my chair, so don't mind me.
Oh, I won't.
Okay, I guess we're gonna get started, and so yeah, for anyone who comes late or isn't able to join tonight, I will save this live after, so you can go back to my page and watch it anytime. So Raya, welcome. I'm trying to make this less nervous-wracking for you as possible.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so it's your first time sharing. I know it's very. I still get nervous honestly when I'm the guest. Like
Okay.
you would think after you tell your story a million times that you'd be like, oh, it's a piece of cake, until I'm on there and I was like, oh no, what am I gonna say? What's my story again?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but we're gonna just have a girl talk. We're good.
Yeah.
So why don't we start from the very beginning of from childhood, and then we'll go from there.
Sounds good. So my name is Raya, and I'm an adoptee. I was born in Russia, in a small little town called Ivanovo. I lived with my biological mother. I was adopted at the age of 7, therefore I have a lot of memories. I remember a lot. Um, and so, yes, I lived with my biological mother for a while, till I was about 3. And then she ended up, I don't know, just leaving me with her boyfriend at the time. And he ended up bringing me to my great aunt's on this really awful rainy day. And as I didn't know who she was at the time, I was really distraught. I was crying a lot. I think it was also part traumatic as well. Um, and so I started living with her, and she was a very strict person, very religious. So that's one of the things that I'm grateful for. She, brought me up in an Orthodox church, and it became my salvation since I didn't have any, anyone to really support me or to be there for me or to protect me. Um, so religion was everything for me. And one day, very interesting day, there was a funeral, and I ended up looking for my great aunt, and I couldn't find her anywhere. And so one lady just came up to me and she said, "Look, let's go to the funeral together, and then we'll come back after the funeral, and I'm sure you'll find her. Or maybe she's already at the funeral." So we ended up going in this truck with about 10 to 15 people and drove to the funeral. And once we came back, I decided to go into the church just to see if she was there. And all of a sudden I found her speaking to this priest, which was, a really close friend of mine and my great aunt's. And she was having a really interesting conversation, and she was offering him if he'd like to buy me. Just, she had his documents there, and she's like, "Well, this is the amount of money that I'm offering for her, and if you have that money, she's yours. Just one signature, and here's her, passport and then birth certificate, and that's it." So I felt really awful that day, very distraught and very surprised to hearing that. And I kind of ran away to a neighbor's place, and this little girl who lived next door to us, and she had little kittens. So I ended up playing with them and just trying to kind of ease off the tension. And then once I got back to my great aunt's place, she would beat me with the random stick that she would find outside, and it was very awful. And again, I would just go back to church after and just keep on praying, because that was my sanctuary, and that's all I had was just God. And this is why for me God is everything, and he's the one that basically protected me from a lot, or tried to at least, and ended up giving me the life that I have now. From then on, I created this theory, as a 4-year-old child, 5 years old. I created this theory which is called me, myself, and I, because that's when I felt that this is it, this is me, and if I don't protect me, nobody else will, and as a 4-year-old, I had to do it. I had to protect myself, and
You had to grow up fast.
yeah, very much so. And I just had no choice at that point, right? And I started to pray, and I prayed that God would give me a mom, like a good mom, a good family. And I just kept on praying, and mostly for a mom, to be honest, since my mom just left and I had no idea why she left, why that happened to me. I also have a lot of trauma that I'm still, dealing with, and that was part of it, just her leaving. And then and I also prayed for my great aunt to be okay. She was 60 years old with a 4-year-old child. I felt that, you know what, she needs to be taken care of, you know, she needs to be okay, she needs to do well. And I felt like I was a burden on her, you know, and she had no idea how to discipline me. She had no idea how to teach me things, how
And
to
that's
bring
so
me up.
selfless as a kid to worry about someone older than you.
Yeah, right? Because
Yeah.
typically you would have her worry about me, and yet it was me
Right.
worrying about her.
And that shows how
And
good of a person you are, too.
thank you. Yeah, so I just that was my big thing is, you know, wanting a family until one day there was a gentleman that came to our door, and he says, you know, he's like, hello, my name is so and so, and I heard you have a granddaughter and she needs a home. And there's a family in Canada that is willing to take her in.
Mm.
And my great aunt, of course, was very excited. And at the same time, she says, look, there's, you know, there's a fee that you have to pay me in order to have her. And it was always all about, unfortunately, all about the money for her and for that side of the family. But for me, it didn't matter because I just wanted a family so bad, and I wanted her to to be unburdened, you know, by me. And then, you know, he started coming more frequently for visits. He took some pictures of me, sent it to my Canadian family, and they were fairly interested in me. And they took an interest in me, and then they decided to come down to meet me
Mm.
in this town, not far from Moscow, just a couple of hours.
Okay.
So we ended up doing a trip together, just the two of us, to go and meet my future mom. And when I was there, I just felt so much love that, you know, I started calling her mom almost right away because she was my mom, and I just wanted it, and she wanted a daughter, and that's how it kind of started unrolling. Of course, the goodbye was very difficult for me, and I wasn't sure if they were going to take me after all, right? It was just like a meet and greet kind of thing.
Yeah.
I had no expectations. I never did because I felt that it was always going to get dropped down somehow. Somehow it's going to all fail, and it's all going to crash on me. So
Mm.
once we headed back to my little town that I was growing up in, um, my great aunt was starting to tell me, she's like, you know, if they can't adopt you, you're going to have to go into a monastery, and you're going to have to, you know, go to school there and learn there and basically live there forever. She's like, I can't take care of you, you know?
Mm.
And as like a 5, 6 year old, I was like, you know, that's okay because I'll be a nun, like no problem, you know? I'll gladly devote my life to God since he was already a big part of my life.
Mm.
And so for me, it wasn't anything bad. And in fact, it was the opposite. I was very grateful. And then at the same time, I would see this gentleman still, you know, he would take me in on the weekends. I would visit with his family. He has 4 beautiful children. And for me, that was everything. I'm like, that's what I want. I want a big family. I want to have 4 children of my own one day
Yeah.
and just be happy, you know, just be happy. And again, they weren't that well off. Like they were better off than me, but at the same time, they had love,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that's
And that's what
all
you
I ever.
wanted.
Exactly. And I
Yeah.
think most adoptees, that's all we want is to have that unconditional love and
Yes.
support and care for.
Yep.
And so he gave me that. Until this moment, we still talk, and me and his children are pretty close. And it's great. We have an amazing relationship, and I'm so grateful for them to have them in my life. And yeah. So later on, I actually got really ill. I had pneumonia, and so
Wow.
my adoptive mom, she would send me because she was in the process of adopting me again. It wasn't legal at all. It was, you know, everything was made up. The paperwork was made up since my great aunt didn't want to give any paperwork up, and so she would send me stuff while I was in the hospital. And it was an interesting time for me because I ended up going to this hospital, and in the one room there was about, I don't know, 6 to 8 kids. And I was a very, very active child. I didn't want to sit still, and I had pneumonia. It was fairly severe. I had it in both my lungs, and so they wanted me to rest and relax, and I just couldn't. So they put me in a separate room across from the children, in the hospital, and my mom sent me this Aquafina toothpaste. I still remember till this day, the red, white, blue toothpaste.
Yeah.
And it tasted really amazing. And so I told the kids, I'm like, hey, come on over, guys. I have something special for you all. So I started giving it to them, but they started eating. I think they were eating it or whatever. So I
Oh
got in
no.
trouble yet again from the nurses. And they're like, you can't do this. And I'm like, just you wait. I'm going to tell my mom in Canada, she's going to come and sue you guys, put you in jail. And it was just, a funny moment. But again, I wasn't supposed to do that. I wasn't supposed to say anything about it. Um, and yeah, it was just very, very exciting. And again, it was just all praying and hoping for the best. And they did end up adopting me.
Mhm.
Thank goodness. The travel wasn't easy. It was very complex. We had to hide my steps of arriving to Canada. There was a whole journey. I'll talk about it another time,
Mhm.
of getting here, and it was really tough. And again, because he wasn't my biological father, he was basically a stranger, but a friend now. So we had to work with me adapting to him adapting to me, and me having to call him father because they could have not been they could have stopped us, and then I could have ended up in an orphanage.
Mhm.
But it's very, like, upsetting too, still, for me, a little bit, because it's my blood relatives, my biological relatives, that were trying to sell me for money. And the reason I believe that my great aunt didn't want to give my paperwork to him is because they made sure that that there was a proven, paperwork that said that my biological mother has passed away. And they could have done that, because if she doesn't show up for 3 or 4 years or more,
Mhm.
and she's unknown, and like they can't find her, she's a missing person, they can actually do that. They can actually, write a certificate that says that she's deceased. And
Wow.
my great aunt was getting money from me, from the government, because my birth mom was dead, which wasn't true at all. And so I don't know, after I came to Canada, I don't know how many years she still was, getting the money. I have no idea. I don't know what went on there, but it's it was just a little, upsetting and crazy,
Yeah.
that somebody would do that.
That is. Oh, man. Oh. Let me just
Yeah.
read some of the comments out to you. A lot of people are showing you a lot of love.
Thank
Um,
you. Thank you.
the, oh, okay. Keith said, God gives comfort. Yes, he does.
He does.
Monarch
Yeah.
Connections, I created a theory. Wow, she put quote unquote. Um, that you're just
Thank you.
such compassion. I'm not religious. I respect others' views on religion. But what I will say is, you created the beautiful person you have become. You utilized the
Thank
gifts that
you.
you were born with despite your trauma. That's beautiful.
Thank
Yes.
you. Very well said. Yes. Thank you.
Monarch Connections, that toothpaste is the best. Yes, it tastes like bubble gum.
Right. That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Keith said, you are such an amazing soul. We have a lot to learn from you. Yes, I agree, Keith.
Thank you.
Um,
So are
People are
you.
just showing you a lot of love.
You.
So I wanted to jump onto the next part of, when you were adopted, like what it was like with your adoptive parents, your relationship with them, how you felt growing up, and just go from there.
So, when I first came to Canada, everything was going great, until, as a child, sometimes you kind of don't do what they tell you to do, or
All the
they
time.
misunderstand your point of view and you misunderstand theirs.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started getting threatened by, my mom and my grandmother, my adoptive grandmother and my mom, about if you misbehave like this, we'll just send you back to Russia. We'll just pack your bags and ship you off. So
Oh, that's
it was
terrible.
really, really challenging, and trying to please them, and trying to be the perfect child and to do what they would ask of me. And it was really hard because at the end of the day, I was still my own person and I still had my own feelings. And yet I understood that they adopted me. So I felt like I had to give my all for them to respect me and to love me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was really close to my grandfather, my adoptive grandfather. He was actually, every time that would happen, he would protect me and he would, kind of uh, guide my grandpa or my grandma and my mom to kind of not do that because it's not right, and it's not nice for a kid to be treated that way.
No,
But
definitely
in
not. You
all,
didn't deserve
also
that.
yeah, and also I was taught to. They told me they're like, you were adopted for one of the reasons you were adopted for is to be able to um, be there for us when we're older and to bury us. And for me, that was I didn't understand what that meant when I was a child, but then when you hear it over and over and over again, it kind of sticks to you. So after my grandfather passed away, I think I was in grade 10 or 11, it hit me so hard. I was so lost in the world and I had nowhere idea where to go, where to turn to. I didn't have any friends at that time too. I kind of just turned away from everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And I just felt so lost because, the one person that really cared all of a sudden is gone,
Yeah.
and I just had my mom and my grandma, and we never got along. We always had our differences, um, big differences, and they never understood where I was coming from. And I don't think they really cared to because at the end of the day, they wanted to change me. They
Mm-hmm.
wanted to change me into a person that, they wanted to create. Just like every day they would tell me, your birth parents are all dead. You have no birth mom, you have no birth father. They died in a car accident. And I'm like, no, but they're not dead. I've lived with them.
Yeah.
And at the time, I thought my biological birth mom's boyfriend was my father for the longest time.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really, really challenging to hear all of a sudden that they actually died in a car accident when they're living. They were alive. I lived with them. And so they try to really change my brain into focusing onto what they had to say and their teachings instead of my own. And they did that all because um, there was no paperwork given with me. So when the doctors would ask about, about health issues and stuff like that, because I had the beginning of tuberculosis. So when we went to the doctors are like, okay, well, who was she in contact with? They wanted all this information. They didn't have any. So therefore, they wanted to teach me, to reteach me, to recreate this person that never existed in the first place. And so instead of, telling me, as a child, I understood a lot, and they could have just talked to me. They could have said, okay, because we don't have paperwork, we would like you to just say this and this and this. But instead they went a completely different route and they're like, no, we want you to believe this. This is your story now. Forget about your past, forget about everything. This is your story now. And they even burned some of my pictures from Russia from back in the day. They really were trying to recreate me.
That's
And
terrible.
so when I got older, when I was in my 20s, I had no idea what I wanted to do in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And it was thanks to my husband who I've met at the age of 19. We started hanging out and he became my therapist at the end of the day, just because he would do the one most important thing. He just listened.
Yeah.
All he did was listen, and that helped me get through everything.
Mm-hmm.
And we have 4 beautiful children together now. But again, I was so stuck for 10 years because I had no idea what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go, because I was never taught that. They just wanted me for themselves. They never wanted me to get married. They never wanted me to have kids. They never wanted me to leave the house. To the point where they would start changing locks and locking me in the house. And I was like, you guys, you know what? Like, I'd rather be in prison than staying in your house because, I had a time limit where I could, come home and that's it. When I was home, I had to be home. Like there was no way out because I had no key. The locks were completely changed. The alarm system was changed. So I felt like a real prison.
Yeah.
And then that's when I also left home and I was like, I had enough. I had enough.
Yeah. Absolutely. Wow.
Yeah,
I'm sorry that you had to go through that. Um,
thank you. Yeah, but
you-
at the end it created me, the person that I am today.
exactly.
I'm also realized now that, at the end of the day, my adoptive mom did everything she could for me.
Yeah.
She raised me the way she thought she needed to raise me. She gave me the love that she could give, you know,
Hmm.
while, I literally left a piece of my heart to my adoptive mom because I thought that that's who I needed to be with, all my life. And so recently like I said, I realized, you know what? I didn't need her because she gave me birth. She's my birth vessel, you know? She she gave birth to me and that's it. She gave me nothing else
It's
except
funny how you
trauma.
call her a birth vessel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because to me I can't connect to her as a mother because a mother that's not a mother.
Right. Well, that's the thing I'm kind of struggling with too. Is I don't want to relate to my birth mother anymore as my birth mother because you need to own up to that name, mother, and you
Yeah,
haven't been. You never were.
right.
You gave me, life, but that's all you did. So I'm trying to find something that I can use to call her that's not too, I guess, I don't know, mean, but
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
that's what my therapist, guys go to therapy. Honestly, it's
Yes,
awesome. It's the best thing.
yes,
And that's why my therapist helped me create this name for her because I felt the exact same way as you did.
mm,
And that's why I just call her my birth vessel, because that's all she did. That's all she ever did for me.
yeah,
And if she couldn't ever be, honest with me, then that's all she's ever gonna be. And it's okay. I just personally, unfortunately, all my grandmother, my grandfather, and my mom have passed away now. And so if
sorry,
there was one thing that I could do was just tell my mom how much, I'm grateful for everything she's done for me, for raising me, for teaching me Russian. They were Russian too, and for giving me the culture, for teaching me the culture, for giving me everything that I could have ever wanted. And unfortunately, I just realized this now. I guess it's better late than ever.
mm,
But I just like I said, I just wish I could just have that one last conversation with her and just let her know that, I'm truly grateful and
mm.
I wish I was more back then too, you know? Yeah.
That's tough. That's a lot of pain to carry.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna. Someone said when someone throws us away, denies us love, and doesn't step up to the accountability and responsibility, it is their burden. It is also the same attitude they feel about themselves deep inside. Absolutely,
And
100.
that's what, yeah.
I wonder how people can lie so easily and sleep at night. It's monarch connections. People do
Yes.
it, and I just don't know how they can look in a mirror, honestly.
I don't know either. I have no idea.
Um, I saw this pop up and I got very emotional because it was so sweet. You remind me of a beautiful lotus flower. They grow through muddy water to bloom on top, and that's for you.
Oh, thank
It's
you.
beautiful. It's
Thank
crazy
you.
times crazy times create our creative times. Um,
They really are.
our
Yeah.
spouses are our helpmates. Yes, Jim,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yes.
Um, Key said a listening ear can help to heal for sure. Sometimes all we need is just someone to listen. Like we don't need anyone to fix us, or
Yeah.
to do anything. We just need someone to listen. And
Yeah,
that
to
does
hear
help.
us. That's all.
Yeah, so much for a child and teen to go through. I'm so glad you were able to leave and found safety and sanity. Um,
Thank you. Yeah.
Things you say are unbelievable. Sorry you had to go through this. Um,
Thank you.
yes, therapy, exactly. Parents don't always get it right, although I feel for you to remember the most key thing. They gave you life. That life is now yours. Yep.
Yeah,
Thank you
that
for the
is very true.
inspiration and thank you for being on here.
Yeah, thank you.
Gibby said, you are so brave. Thank you for being so open and raw. I'm so sorry for the way people have made you feel. You inspire me. Aw.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mine is the woman that gave you birth. the woman that gave you birth to me. Yeah, so that's how he refers to his birth mother.
Oh, that's nice too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that, the woman. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, to be our listening witness. Yes. Lord gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth to do more listening. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I'm working
Yes,
on that
Jim.
too. Thank you.
Yeah. So,
Thank
is there anything else you want to add on about your adoption before we go into the next part?
No, I think I've covered a lot. Yeah.
By the way, you did amazing. You're doing amazing. I know you were
Thank
super nervous, but you just
yeah.
everything. I mean, you did wonderful. I'm so proud of
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Thank you guys. I wouldn't have done it without you.
yeah. That's
Thank you for
exactly
all your
right.
support.
Listening is so important and validating your feelings. Yes.
Yes.
And that's what we need is just to be heard, to be understood, and just know that our feelings are valid and we do matter.
Yes.
And that's
All
really
of
what
us,
we
every one of
really
us.
want to. Yeah, it's exactly what we really need. Okay, so you are now the newest ambassador of Adopted.
I'm not an ambassador.
You're not.
I you know what? I'm so new to this. Honestly, I'm a contributor. That's what I am for now.
Oh,
I'm just a
okay.
contributor, yeah,
Okay.
to the I'm Adopted group,
Okay.
community.
So
Yeah.
what do you what tell us how that came about and what exactly you're doing with them.
So, like I said, I had no idea what I wanted to do in life, and I honestly, I still don't. And this is a start. This is something new, and I love, I when I saw Alex, and his posts and his stories and how he met his adopted families, and
Mm-hmm.
from day one, and it was just so beautiful and so inspiring, and I really wanted, and the fact that he wants to get everybody involved, not just Russian adoptees,
Mm-hmm.
everybody, Romanian, Ukrainian, all the adoptees worldwide. And that's what I loved, and I love that community because at the end of the day, it's like a family.
Yes.
And that's why I was like, you know what, I want to jump in. I want to help out as much as I can.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just doing some volunteer work. For now, just creating stories. I'm going to post more about Russian food. Since I grew up in a Russian family, I was very fortunate to be adopted in a Russian family that was able to, take me to Russian school every single weekend, every Saturday, from 9 to 3.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just so wonderful. So I want to give that to other adoptees, to other Russian adoptees,
Yeah.
and if
It's
there are
called
other
paying it
ones,
forward.
yeah, yeah. And at the same time, it helps me too because I'm
Mm-hmm.
giving something and I'm taking something back as well, and I learn stuff every day, from other adoptees, from other friends. Katerina Reach is on here now, and
Yeah.
she's
Hi,
a
Patty.
wonderful young lady. So it's honestly just been a pleasure getting to know every single one of them, Daria too, and Alex from Romania, just really, really amazing, amazing people, all of them. And I'm just so lucky to be a part of, that wonderful community and that wonderful group and creating change. It's all about, creating change and helping adoptees cope with their adoption stories and, you know, just looking at all the positive things about us. I know there's a lot of, negativity towards us as well, but there's a lot of positive things and that everybody can give and learn from.
Yeah, I know. That it is beautiful to have just a community that we can, that can relate with us and just you just become like you just have an instant bond with them just based
Yeah.
on like I said, we all have different stories, we all have different traumas, but the one thing we have in common is that we're adopted, and a lot of the feelings behind that we can resonate with. And to
Yeah.
find someone that completely understands you without having to really go further into detail just is very beautiful. And just like that support is amazing. And I always say community and support is everything.
It is, yes. So if you're an adoptee listening, please reach out because there's a space for you somewhere,
Yes.
you know, and you're not alone in any of it. You're not alone. You're never alone.
No.
Just reach out, and we're all here, and we've all been through things, and we're all grieving, and we all have trauma that we're trying to deal with. And
Mm-hmm.
again, you're never alone. There's always communities out there that are for you.
Yep.
Please reach
And if
out.
you fall, someone will be there to catch you. One of us.
Yes, every time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, I didn't realize there was a community. It feels like I finally found a home. Me too, Gibby, honestly. Yeah. I didn't know there was a community till last year, so it blew
I
me
didn't know either.
away
Yeah,
finding out. I was just
I've
like,
just
wait,
it
there's
hasn't
more
been
people
a year,
like
I don't
me
think.
who feel like me, and you mean I'm not alone in this, or this wasn't, I wasn't the only one thinking this, and it's like I used to like be like, oh man, like maybe I shouldn't tell someone that, and then I hear someone else say it, it's like, yes, thank God, like you
Yeah,
get
well,
me.
yeah, I think it's only been a few months that I've actually known, 5 to 6 months, I think, that I've found, the Russian community just off of Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And then afterwards, I just found you, and then, Monarch Connections.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a great, support. And, I just, it's beautiful, you're not alone. That's all I can say is you're not alone.
Nope, we're in this together. And yes, it is extremely validating, absolutely.
Yeah, it is.
Okay,
It
so
is.
I think so the last question I'm going to ask you, actually two-parter, since
Okay.
we have time. Um, what advice would you give to adoptees, and what advice would you give to adoptive parents?
Ooh. Okay. To adoptees, I would say my advice to you all is you're loved, and you are all beautiful inside and out, you know, and again, you are not alone. And please reach out to anyone. There's so many groups out there. There's so many people. Um, just reach out to parents of adoptees. I would say, just listen in,
Mm-hmm.
to the adoptee. Listen to them, because that's all they need is for you to just listen to them and let them share their part of their stories,
Yes.
you know, and just be there for them.
Mm-hmm.
If they want to search for their biological parents, be there, support them.
Yes.
That's all that we need. That's all anybody needs, is just support.
Support and love, big time.
Yes,
And
and
just give them a
unconditional love
safe
for
space.
everyone.
Make sure you give them a safe space to ask questions, to share how they feel, and
And don't
just be
change them. Let
themselves.
them be
Yes.
themselves. Don't change
Yes.
them.
Exactly. Love them for who
Grow
they
with
are.
them. Grow with them, learn about them. There's so many books out there now that you can learn from. Read, understand, talk to other adoptees,
Mm-hmm.
and other parents of adoptees. And there's a fairly big community out there for you too.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's always someone out there for you. There's somebody.
Absolutely.
And yeah, and again, if anyone needs to talk, needs to know that they're not alone, reach out to Raya, reach out to me, reach out to I'm
Please
Adopted,
do.
reach out to anybody on here and other adoptees. Just know, like,
Reach out to Monarch Connections.
yes,
Amazing, amazing,
you're not,
amazing.
you're heard. So
Yeah.
you'll feel heard and seen. Um, Gibby did have a question. Are there any groups that meet in person that you have found? So no, I've not met any groups in person, but I do know a friend of mine, Allie. If you message me, Gibby, I'll give you the information. Her name is Allie. She hosts a support group for adoptees every Tuesday night. So I can give you the details in a DM after this.
Also, Monarch Connection does it as well. So please reach
Perfect.
out. Yeah, and yes, it's a wonderful group. Everybody's welcome. Doesn't matter the ethnicity. Join in, listen in. You share your stories if you'd like. If not, listen. Just
Mm-hmm.
listen. And once you're ready, we're all here to hear you and to hear your stories.
Exactly. It's perfect. Perfect advice. You ladies are super encouraging. Well, thank you. So are
Thank
you.
you. So are
Um,
you, definitely.
as a mother, I will say to you both, you are deserving, you are worthy, and you are a beautiful part of this world that is so generally blessed to be a part of life. We are never alone in
Thank,
that. Thank you so much for all
thank
your
you.
beautiful words, your kind words.
Thank,
Um, Raya, you did absolutely incredible. You were
thank,
the epitome of brave tonight, and I'm so happy you shared your story with me and all of us for the first time. And
thank you. Thank you,
um,
Michelle, for hosting and for just your wonderful presence, your peacefulness every single time, and again, thank you for being brave and for allowing this space for adoptees to share their stories. It's
oh,
absolutely remarkable.
well, I mean, I love doing it, so that's what I'm here for. I want to give as many adoptees as possible a voice and let them feel heard. So,
Thank you.
Katia, you're loved and we appreciate you. I skipped over that. But yeah, you did a great
Thank you.
job. You are brave. Okay, well, everyone, thank you so much. I can't
Thank
talk
you.
tonight. Thank you so much for coming on and showing a lot of love to Raya. Um, and I'll have an amazing evening. Raya, thank you again. And
Thank
video
you.
will be posted on my page in about
Thank
10
you.
minutes.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Xenia. Thank you, Gibby Gump. Thank you guys so much.
Okay, have
Thank
a
you,
good night,
everyone.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.